Okay, welcome back to the last of the 3 videos on After Effects. Remember, in these videos, I'm not doing anything more than just giving you a very brief introduction, trying to get you to feel a little bit confident and dig in there and trying to experiment with some of the effects and things you can do. One of the big problems with After Effects is that people open it, it looks so complicated, they just close it down and never go back. Whereas if you can just get started, you should be fine. Okay, so I'm just going to open the third project here, double clicking in this area, and we're going to do something. I'll just show you very briefly. We're going to try and put some small graphics on this time. We're going to move them around, we're going to fade them in and out, because this is really the basics of all you're going to probably do if you're doing a short form infographics piece for a news story. You have your news story, you write it 300 or 400 words possibly, you voice it, and then you just want to try and illustrate it with some maps and some graphics and some text coming up. And that's really as far as you're going to get just with these courses. You should be able to do that by the end of this. Okay, so we're going to bring in Pix and VO, the voiceover. It's the same voiceover that you had before, and you're going to see the map also. We're going to go up now, a new composition. You should be good at this, the 1080, 1920, 1080 composition. There it is. Let's go up to fit so we can see it in full. And we're going to drag the voiceover down onto our timeline here and drop it in. Now it's the same voiceover that we had before, but I happen to know that on this time we're going to start about a minute in. So I'm going to drag it to 1 minute there, you can see that, and then drag that to the beginning so it's ready to play. And we're probably just going to do again just about 30 seconds or so just to get you feeling confident. Obviously, once you can do this with my stuff, you'll be able to go and create your own very quickly. Okay, so now what we're going to do again is bring the map in. I'm going to drag that this time again, just dropping it onto the canvas. And I'm not going to rescale it. I think it's fine like this. This is a map of China, and we're just going to put some graphics over the top of it. By the time we get to this, we should know about it. So what I want to do is to bring in, you're going to see here this house image and this tool image, and we're going to bring them in and move them around a little bit and fade them in and out. Okay, so let's start with the house, and I'm going to drop that in the middle there and just scale it down a little bit and just bring it down. Where are we? So there we go. Oh, I got the wrong one. Let's do this here. I'm on the wrong layer. Let's go back onto this layer. If that ever happens, you just need to click on the layer that you want, click on that, and then scale it down. I've got my finger on the shift key so I don't change the perspective. Okay, that's about big enough. Okay, so right at the beginning here, let's just play it out here.
Around 1 million villages in China, housing around 800 million rural peasants and migrant workers.
Okay, so we're talking about the numbers 1 million villages with 800 million peasants. They're the two things that we want to bring in and use this house to illustrate that. So again, I'm going to use the shift and 1. So I put my marker in because this is the area that we're going to work in. And let me just zoom that up a little bit so I've got a bit more space where I can see where it is that I want. So we've got about 6 seconds. And during that 6 seconds, I want this to come from being small to growing up, to blowing up. Okay, we should know how to do that by now. It's very similar to what we've done with the shapes. I'm right at the beginning. I'm going to come down here, find my house, which is here. I'm going to transform it. I'm going to turn on the scale, which is a stopwatch, which is recording everything that I'm going to do. And now I'm going to resize it down to being very, very small, like this. And then I'm going to bring it to the end of the 6 seconds. And at this point, I want it to zoom up and make it as big as I want. Okay, now it's very similar to the way we did our shape. Now we can see it just springing up. And remember that they're going to talk about 1 million villages and 800 million people. So let's do that with text. So I'm going to go up to my text tool and I'm going to put up here let's do it with things 1 million villages. Just put that over there. Okay, and then again with my text tool, I'm going to do another one down here with 800 million. Oops, what am I doing there? 800 million peasants. Okay, now what I want to happen here is this time I want these to fade in and then fade out. So it starts with 1 million villages, and then we go to this one. So as this one fades in, then the other one fades out. That's what we're going to hope to do over these 6 seconds. So let's go back to here, and you can see where we're at with these. These are much longer than we need, but we'll go back to that later. We'll cut them down. So let's start. We're going to start with 1 million villagers. So down here, I've come down to transform. And now I'm going to use the opacity. So I'm on opacity. Let's just come in, just click on this one here, 1 million villages, and I'm going to click the opacity. And now at the start, I'm going to bring that down to 0. And I want it to come up to about here, and then come up, let's say the first 2 seconds, I want it to come up to 100%. So that's now going to fade it in. And then I'm going to go for another 2 seconds to 4 seconds. And then I want to start fading it out. Now to do that, I need to add right here a keyframe. By clicking on that, you can see the little orange button here that is put in, the little orange marker. And then I can go back down to here. And now I can come out with my opacity. By putting in that keyframe, I've said, okay, I want it to stay up until there and then to fade out. Okay, so now we can see it as it goes through. We're going to see that fading in as that comes up and then fading out. There we go, great. And then with the 8 million workers, let's just, 8 million peasants, sorry. Let's go back to that. So this is this one here. I want that to start here fading in. So up until this point, I want it to not have anything. So again, I'm going to come out of this text, go to the 8 million and go to transform and click the opacity, bring that down to 0. And then as I go from here to the 4 second mark, I want that then to come in. So in order to do that, I'm now going to bring that up to 100% as that comes in here, and then it's going to stay to here. So we're going to click the again the keyframe, and then we're going to bring it to 8 seconds, and 8 seconds we're going to have it fade out. Okay, so let's have a quick look at that works, how that works. So up it comes, here we come in here, 1 million villagers comes in, the village expands, 8 million peasants comes in, 1 million villages fades out, and then 8 million peasants fade out. Okay. Now, at the next part, we're going to move into another section where they're going to talk about something that we can use the tool for, so what the peasants actually do. And to do that, now I want this graphic here, the house, to move out of the way so I can bring the tool in. So to do that, and now I need to come back. Let's just close these down so it's easier for me to see. So now I'm back on the house here, and I'm clicked on this, so I'm on this layer, and so at 8 seconds I want this to move over to the left and get a little bit smaller, 2 things at the same time. Well, we've already got the scale done, but I need to put in a keyframe there because it's at this point that it's going to start to move. But I also want it to change position. And so I'm going to click the position here as well and put in another keyframe. So as we come from 8 to 10 seconds, in these 2 seconds, what I want it to do is I want it to move across to here, and I also want it to scale down to being something a little bit smaller and just moving out of the way to there. Okay, which is going to allow me to bring other thing in. So now you can see it coming up, and that fade out, and then that move and get smaller and move over to this side. And now we're going to bring in our tool. I'm going to drop that in here. And we can see this is a little bit too big. Let's go down to 25% so I can rescale it. So here we are here. So I'm just click on the corner there, finger on the shift key, make it a little bit more usable. There's our tool. So we want this, maybe let's say we want this to come in from the side. So I'm going to bring it here and it's going to fade in from the side. Okay, so let's come off the house and go back to the tool. And the tool, again in transform, we're going to change the position. In this case, we're not going to change the scale. So we start here, and then as we come to the next 2 seconds there, we're going to move that and bring it in so it's here. Okay, so again, now let's just push through here. So in we come, 1 million villages, the village comes up, then that moves off to the left hand side, and then the tool starts to come in. Okay, that's it. I'm not going to go any further than that because it's really now up to your own creativity to play around with these elements. But these are the basic things that you need to know to be able to create an infographic that has got all these kind of things moving around and keeps people interested, and you can tell your story in a simple and quick way to do. You should be able, once you get reasonably quick at this, to be able to put together something within the space of a day or half a day if you're working on a breaking news story. Great way to do simple infographics, export it as a video, and there you've got it. There's your story as an infographic. In the next chapter, we're going to be doing a very similar video infographic, but we're going to be looking at other software packages and free-to-use websites, free-to-use tools that we can use to source and create something that looks maybe a little bit different than what we might be able to do in AE.